And the transmission of all this knowledge flowed through the scholars of the Islamic Golden Age, who did not just preserve it but advanced it. Al-Kindi wrote on astrology and argued that the stars were signs, not causes, a distinction that sounds modern. Al-Biruni compiled the most complete astrological encyclopedia of the medieval world. And the astrolabe, the brass computer I mentioned, was perfected by Islamic instrument makers and carried to Europe, where it became the symbol of the learned astrologer. Astrology was woven into the fabric of medieval life.
So the ancient world was not a primitive prelude to real science. It was the workshop where the tools of observation, mathematics, and interpretation were forged, tools that every later science inherited. And here is the provocative thought: the ancients did not separate the objective and the symbolic. The sky was both. Mars was both a physical planet and a god of war. That double vision, seeing the cosmos as simultaneously physical and meaningful, is exactly what quantum physics is struggling to recover, 3,000 years later.
One last gift from the ancients before we turn to the modern era: the principle of correspondence. The Hermetic saying, "as above, so below," is usually quoted as if it meant the heavens determine the earth. But the Hermetic texts are subtler than that. They describe a universe of mutual resonance, the macrocosm and the microcosm as mirrors, each reflecting the other. The sky is not a tyrant issuing orders. It is a mirror showing the soul its own shape.
And with the principle of correspondence in our pockets, we leave the ancient world behind, carrying its tools, its wisdom, and its humility, and step into the modern era, where astrology turned inward and the sky became a mirror of the mind.
Let us go deeper into the psychological revolution because it changed the grammar of astrology itself. Before Jung, the planets were largely read as events. Mars brings conflict, Saturn brings delay, Jupiter brings fortune. After Jung, the planets became inner functions. Mars became the drive, the assertion, the will. Saturn became the structure, the limit, the teacher. The chart became a map of the psyche's architecture, and the horoscope became a tool for self-understanding rather than fortune-telling. And Jung's own chart work is worth studying. He cast charts for his patients. He even wrote astrological essays. His famous study of the synchronicity of marriage pairs, the tendency of married couples to have significant planetary contacts between their charts, was an attempt to find statistical evidence for astrology. The study was methodologically flawed by modern standards, but the impulse was genuine. Jung called it synchronicity, the meaningful coincidence that cannot be explained by cause and effect. Synchronicity is astrology's best philosophical friend.
And the evolutionary school built on Jung's foundation, but added something the psychologists missed: the soul's intention. Evolutionary astrology asks not just, what is my psychology, but why did my soul choose this chart? The answer, in this tradition, is that the soul chose the chart for its lessons. The South Node shows the overlearned past. The North Node shows the underdeveloped future. The Moon's nodes, in evolutionary astrology, are the spine of the incarnation. And the evolutionary reading has a signature move. It reads the difficult placements not as curses but as curriculum. Pluto square Venus? The soul is learning the difference between love and possession. Saturn opposite the Sun? The soul is learning to embody authority rather than rebel against it. Chiron in the 10th? The soul is learning to heal the wound of public identity. Every chart, read this way, is a perfect curriculum. Not because life is fair, but because the soul chose the curriculum before it chose the life.
Hari deserves a much deeper pass, because it is the branch of astrology that most people never even hear about, and it is the most astonishing. The technique. A client asks a question at a specific moment. The astrologer casts the chart for that exact moment and location. The ascendant of the Hari chart becomes the querent, the asker. The planet ruling the ascendant becomes the querent's significator. The thing asked about gets its own significator. And the answer is read from the aspects between significators. Here is why Hari is philosophically stunning. The Hari chart is cast for the moment of the question, not for the moment of the event, not for the moment of birth. That means the sky at the moment of asking contains the answer to the question being asked. There is no causal mechanism. And yet, in the tradition, the chart answers. The only way to make sense of that is the way of the quantum. The question is an act of observation, and the observation collapses the sky into an answer. Hari is astrology's experiment in the observer effect.
Electional astrology, deeper. The craft of choosing the moment is older than writing. Every ancient culture, Babylon, Egypt, India, China, Rome, had its auspicious days and its forbidden ones. The Roman calendar was literally built on days when business could be transacted and days when it could not. The Chinese almanac still tells you which days are good for travel, for marriage, for beginning a building. Electional astrology is the art of turning that instinct into precision. And the practice has a rich set of rules. You want the moon well aspected, preferably applying to a benefic, and not void of course. You want the ruler of the ascendant dignified in its sign or house. You want the ruler of the 10th house, the matter at hand, strong and unafflicted. You avoid times when malefics are angular. It is technical, detailed, and endlessly fascinating. And it carries a beautiful philosophy. Time is not neutral. Every moment has a flavor, a direction, a bias. Electional astrology is the art of reading the menu of time.
Mundane astrology, deeper. Because this is the astrology that reads the news. The mundane astrologer's primary tools are the ingress charts. The charts cast for the moment the sun enters Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, the cardinal turning points of the year. The Aries ingress is read as the year's weather map. The lunations are read as monthly pulses, and the slow outer planets are read as the great currents of the collective story. Let me walk you through a mundane reading of the 20th century because it is the best proof of the technique's power. Pluto entered Cancer in 1914, and the world went to war. Pluto entered Leo in 1939, and the age of the great leaders was in full flame. Pluto entered Virgo in 1957, and the space age began, the age of analysis and data. Pluto entered Libra in 1971, and the age of partnership treaties began. Pluto in Scorpio in 1984, the age of debt and hidden power. Pluto in Sagittarius in 1995, the age of globalization and the internet, and Pluto in Capricorn in 2008, the age of the collapse and rebuilding of institutions. Each ingress read the decade's theme with startling fidelity.
And the modern mathematical toolkit deserves one more pass, because these are the techniques that turn a reader into a master. Declination is the chart's vertical axis, the dimension most astrologers ignore entirely. Two planets in the same sign could still be in different worlds if one is far north and the other far south of the equator. And two planets in entirely different signs, with no zodiacal aspect between them, could be conjunct in declination, forming a parallel that behaves like a conjunction. When you add declination, you add a whole new dimension to the chart.
And the Arabic parts, let me give you the full family, because they are a hidden treasure. The part of fortune is the best known, but the tradition includes parts for almost every domain. The part of spirit, the part of marriage, the part of children, the part of fathers, the part of mothers, the part of sickness, the part of death, the part of victory, the part of imprisonment, the part of travel by land, the part of travel by sea. Each one is a formula, usually involving the ascendant plus one planet minus another. And each one creates a sensitive point that can be activated by transits. And the reason the parts matter so much in practice is that they reveal connections the eye would never see. Two charts can have no major aspect between them, and yet one person's Venus can land exactly on the other person's part of marriage. That is the kind of contact that explains the inexplicable attraction. The parts are the chart's secret geometry. They are the reason a chart never stops revealing itself, no matter how many years you study it. Before we go deeper into the quantum frontier, I want to give you the physics in a way that is honest and complete. Quantum mechanics is the most successful theory in the history of science. It predicts the behavior of atoms, lasers, transistors, and stars with precision that is almost frightening. And yet, a century after its founding, physicists still do not agree on what it means. The mathematics is settled, the interpretation is not, and it is in that open space, the space of interpretation, that astrology can enter the conversation honestly. Here is the core of it. In quantum mechanics, a system like an electron is described by a wave function, a mathematical object that assigns a probability to every possible state. The electron is not really here or there until it is measured. It exists in a superposition, a fuzzy cloud of possibilities. But the moment you measure it, the cloud collapses, and the electron is suddenly, definitely, here. This is not a metaphor. It is the observed behavior of the microscopic world. And the question that has haunted physics since 1927 is simply this: what does measurement mean?
And here is the astrological bridge, built carefully. We are not saying the planets are electrons, or that the birth moment is literally a quantum measurement. What we are saying is that the structure of astrology, a unique configuration of the sky at a unique moment, carrying unique meaning for a unique life, is structurally homologous to the structure of quantum collapse. In both systems, a moment of observation crystallizes a field of possibility into a particular reality. The physics gives astrology a rigorous conceptual vocabulary.
Let us sit with entanglement for a moment, because it is the most astonishing verified phenomenon in physics. Two particles interact, become entangled, and then, even if they are separated by light years, measuring one instantly determines the state of the other. Einstein spent his last decades fighting this idea. He called it spooky action at a distance. But experiments have confirmed that entanglement is real. The universe, at its foundation, is non-local. The cosmos is not a collection of separate objects. It is a web. Now hold that thought and look at a synastry chart. Two people, born at different moments in different places, whose charts show a Venus-Mars conjunction, or a Moon-Moon trine, or a Saturn-Sun square. The traditional question is, how can one person's chart affect another? The quantum answer is, it does not have to. The connection is not causal. It is entangled. Synastry is not astrology's weakest branch, as skeptics assume. It is astrology's most quantum branch, the one that most perfectly mirrors the strange connectedness at the heart of reality.
And the observer effect has an even deeper astrological face. In quantum mechanics, the act of measurement does not just reveal a pre-existing state. In the strongest interpretations, it participates in creating the state. The observer is not a camera filming a pre-existing world. Astrology has always known this. The chart is not a static document waiting to be read. It is a living relationship between the chart, the reader, and the one who asks. My grandmother would say, "The stars give you a sentence, but you are the one who writes the paragraph."
Let me offer an original theory here, something we have been developing for this episode, and I want to share it as a theory, not a truth. Call it the entangled birth hypothesis. The idea: every birth is not an isolated event. It is a node in a network of births, family births, cultural births, planetary births. When a child is born, the moment connects to the moments of the parents' births, and forward to the births that will come after. The birth chart is not a private map. It is a knot in a web of time.
And the responsible physicist voice returns, because I promised honesty. The entangled birth hypothesis is not physics. It is a metaphor, a powerful one, but a metaphor. Quantum entanglement does not, as far as anyone has shown, apply to macroscopic objects like babies or planets. But here is what the metaphor does that no other metaphor does. It gives astrology a way to be rigorous about connection without pretending to have causal mechanisms it does not have. Astrology does not need the planets to cause anything. It needs the universe to be the kind of place where meaning can be woven into pattern.
And the quantum lens illuminates the old techniques in ways that are genuinely useful, not just poetic. Take retrograde planets. In classical astrology, a retrograde planet is weakened, internalized, or expressed in reverse. In the quantum lens, a retrograde planet is a wave function that has not yet collapsed, an energy that lives in the inner world in superposition, in potential. And the station, the moment a planet turns direct, is the collapse event, the moment the inner potential becomes outer reality. Instead of fearing retrogrades, you respect their latency.
And the quantum lens reframes prediction itself. In classical astrology, a transit is an event, Mars square your Sun, and conflict arrives. In the quantum lens, a transit is an observation, a new interaction that reshuffles your probability field. It does not determine what happens. It changes the distribution of possibilities. Some doors open, some close, some become more likely. The future remains open, but it is not flat. The sky, read with skill, shows you the gradients of probability. That is not fortune-telling. That is reading the weather of meaning.
And one more layer, because this is the part that gives me chills. If the universe is a web, if entanglement is real and non-locality is real, then the boundary between my chart and your chart is an illusion of scale. My Saturn is not only mine. It touches your sun, your moon, and the charts of everyone I love. We are all one vast, entangled chart, one cosmic web of meaning, constantly observing itself into existence. And if that is true, then the deepest message of astrology is not, know your fate. It is, care for the web.
The quantum frontier is open, and the metaphor is rich. But a complete astrology needs more than philosophy, it needs technique. It needs the deep tools that turn insight into practice. And that is exactly what we are bringing you next.
Astrocartography deserves a deeper technical pass, because it is one of the most practical branches of astrology, and one of the most misunderstood. The technique was systematized in the 20th century by Jim Lewis, who realized that the birth chart could be projected onto the Earth's surface. For each planet, there are lines where that planet was rising, culminating, or setting at the moment of your birth. Along those lines, the planet's energy is switched on in the environment. The result is your personal map of the Earth. Here is how it works in practice. Your sun line runs through the places where your identity can most fully express itself. Your moon line runs through the places that feed you emotionally. Your Venus line runs through the places of beauty, love, and pleasure. Your Jupiter line runs through the places of expansion and opportunity. And your Saturn line runs through the places of lesson and limitation. Your Pluto line runs through the places of transformation, often the hardest places, and often the most important.
Fixed stars deeper, because they are the most neglected treasure in modern astrology, and they are having a renaissance. The fixed stars are the actual stars of the sky, mapped onto the zodiac at their current positions. They do not move through the signs. They sit fixed at specific longitudes, and when a planet in your chart conjoins one of them, the star's ancient meaning blends with the planet's function. The result is a flavor that no planet alone can produce. Let me walk you through the royal stars because they are the most famous. Regulus, at about 0 degrees Virgo, is the heart of the lion, the star of kingship, of authority, and in its shadow, of the tyrant and the fallen ruler. Antares, at about 10 degrees Sagittarius, is the heart of the scorpion, the star of intensity, of the warrior's path. Aldebaran, at about 10 degrees Gemini, is the eye of the bull, the star of integrity, of the fixed purpose. Fomalhaut, at about 4 degrees Pisces, is the mouth of the southern fish, the star of ideals, of the dream that becomes real.
Harmonics, even deeper, because John Addy's insight was not just clever, it was revolutionary. Every aspect is a division of the circle. The opposition divides by 2, the trine by 3, the square by 4, the quintile by 5, the sextile by 6. And each division creates a harmonic family with its own themes. The even harmonics are the harmonics of matter, structure, and conflict. The odd harmonics are the harmonics of spirit, creativity, and inspiration. When you read a chart through its harmonics, you are reading the same chart through different lenses. Here is a practical example of harmonic reading. Take someone's fifth harmonic chart, multiply every planet by 5. The fifth harmonic is the harmonic of creativity, of the artistic gift. A tight fifth harmonic indicates a focused creative talent. A loose fifth harmonic indicates a more diffuse, exploratory creativity. Now take the ninth harmonic, multiply by 9. The ninth is the harmonic of vision, of faith, of the higher purpose. A strong ninth harmonic suggests a person with a clear sense of mission. Harmonics let you ask specific questions of the chart and get specific answers.
Midpoints, deeper, because they are the connective tissue of the chart, and Aberdeen's Cosmobiology School built an entire system on them. The method: calculate the midpoint between every pair of planets, and read the chart as a web of these points. The Sun-Moon midpoint is the center of the personality. The Venus-Mars midpoint is the axis of desire. The Saturn-Pluto midpoint is the axis of power. When a transit crosses a midpoint, it activates the entire axis, and the effect can be felt more strongly than many major transits. And midpoints shine in synastry. One of the strongest relationship signatures in all of astrology is a person's planet falling on the other person's sun-moon midpoint. It creates the feeling of being seen, of someone who understands you at the level of your core. Another powerful signature: one person's Venus on the other's Venus-Mars midpoint, the sense of being desired in exactly the way you want to be desired. Midpoint synastry is the deep grammar of attraction.
And the Arabic parts, one more layer, because the tradition is deeper than the fortune and spirit. There are parts for every domain of life, and each one is a formula waiting to be read. The part of marriage, ascendant plus Venus minus Saturn. The part of children, ascendant plus Jupiter minus Saturn. The part of the father, ascendant plus Saturn minus Sun. The part of the mother, ascendant plus Moon minus Venus. Each part is a sensitive point in the chart, and when planets transit these points, the corresponding domain is activated.